Okay, so let's go over problem number 1. It says, which of the following is true? Now, anytime it's asking for domain and range, you need a graph or a table. Now, if you look at your actual question, you aren't given a graph or a table. So what you need to do is you need to graph this in the actual calculator so that way you know what you're looking at and you get a visual. Now, when you graph this in the calculator, okay, it's -7 parenthesis 4 with an exponent at x. You're going to get something that goes like this. Now, what you guys need to remember is this is an exponential function. So the domain for exponential function is always all real numbers. And the reason that is because when you graph it, they can't put arrows at the end. But there are arrows at the end of this. That's just something you guys have to remember. Okay? Then this means your horizontal asymptote is going to be your nagging sibling, the one that says, I'm not touching you. That line, that dashed line, is y equals 0. Again, you won't be able to find any of this out unless you actually graph this. So let's look at A. It says the domain is all real numbers. It should not have greater than or equal to 4. It should only be all real numbers. So go to your other domain. The domain is all real numbers less than or equal to 0. Again, it shouldn't have anything other than that. Look at D. The range is all real numbers. Well, the range isn't all real numbers. The domain is all real numbers. So now let's look at B. The range is all real numbers less than 0. So 0, this 0 is coming from this 0 right here. So that's where it's coming from. Less than. So this arrow, is it pointing down or is it pointing up? It's pointing down, so that is going to mean it's less than. Now, another way that I teach it is your horizontal asymptote. Is the graph underneath the horizontal asymptote or is it above? If it's underneath, it's less than. If it's above, it's greater than. Well, this one's underneath, so it's going to be less than. So B is your answer. But again, the most important thing is you can't find domain or range without a table or a graph. So if you're given an equation, no graph, go put it in the calculator and graph it. Here, what is the value of 4? This 4 means that everywhere you see an X, you need to put that 4. So let's rewrite it. I have F, I have an X here, so I'm going to leave a parentheses, equals 3. I have an X here, parentheses, minus 7. So I'm going to put that 4 everywhere there's empty parentheses. What you're going to do is you're going to put this part in your calculator. And when you do, you get F of 4 is equal to 41. And that's C. Now the last one. Which quotient? Quotient means a fraction. So that's all that means, which we see is represented. So all we're doing is dividing. Now, a lot of people think the law of exponents where, okay, you see division, you're going to subtract your exponents. But that's only when you have two different variables. I have one variable, and that's W. So there are two ways to do this. I'm going to do like a box method. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put it up top. 2W plus 1. I'm going to take my 8W squared, and I'm going to put it right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my negative 12, and I'm going to put it right here. So, again, we're looking for what goes here. Well, 2 times what gives you 8? Well, 2 times 4 gives me 8. And then there has to be a squared. So look at your answer choices. It's not C. It's not D because there's no 4. So now, because again, we're multiplying. So 4 times 2 gives you 8. Now, 1 times something gives you your negative 12. Well, 1 times negative 12 gives you negative 12. So your answer is B because that's a positive 12. Now, Another way that we can do this, which we kind of did, we didn't pay any attention to this 20w, negative 20w. Well, what is 8 divided by 2? 4. And then here, you're subtracting your exponents. 2 minus 1 is 1. And then here, what is negative 12 divided by 1? Negative 12. And that's the exact same thing we got. 2 different ways.